Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will show you how to choose your pencils for your drawing. I have a beautiful photo of this young boy with gorgeous eyes. I also put the reference for my photo in my description section. As you can see, he has gorgeous eyes, and I will tell you like my difference from maybe like other drawing tutorial channels, that I see that they don't explain much which pencil to use in detail and what were they thinking when they create their art. But I want to show you in this video, before I start my full tutorial, how I decided on which graphite pencils or charcoal pencils I decided to use in the first place. And also how I decided which colors and which places that I'm gonna be using. So my pencils are here, but I also want to show you what I just bought, and in the description section you can find all the materials that I'm using for this video. Let me show you. So I have these blending stumps. They're really useful for blending, and they come in with this sharpener, so you can actually get rid of that dark paper on that blending stump by basically just doing this. It's very easy and it's very useful. I use it all the time. And instead of blending stump, of course, you can use something else. I'll show you later. I have this eraser. It's Factus black eraser. It is really useful with charcoal, especially. It picks up really nicely. And I make mistakes quite often with charcoal, and I taped it, as you can see this time, because in my last video I didn't tape it and it was all over the place and I didn't like it. So hopefully you will like it. If you don't have a blending stump, you can always use these quick tips, and they're very useful. They do the same job. And I have my brush, I have my paper towel. You can use cotton as well, and I have my tea, of course, but it's far away from my drawing. So after I already told you what I have in order to draw this little boy's picture, I also want to show you how I decided on my pencils and which tones. So I look at my picture all the time first, and I go from the lightest tone to darker tone when I'm deciding. So I see that around his eye is very dark, as you can see. It has to be something dark, and the eyebrows are also dark, and eyelashes are also dark. And then what I see is, though, the skin, general skin tone is pretty light, so I need something lighter on the side as well. So the basic skin tone is light, and around the eyes and eyebrow is pretty dark, and the lips are pretty dark as well. And in order to do that, I probably have the H series, like in my graphite pencils, for the lightest tone. I'm going to be using those, and you can see here there's very dark part, and then there's like a medium tone right here between the light and the dark. So this medium tone right here. So for medium tones I need something else, and this dark part I need something else, and for the light part I need something else. So I need at least 3 shades of gray I can see from here. So around the eyes and eyebrows, I'm gonna use my charcoal pencils. Let me show you which charcoal I'm using. I'm using General's charcoal 2B, and I'm gonna be using medium one for the around the eyes and the eyebrows. It doesn't have to be 2B. If you have any medium one, that will work as well. And for the dark areas, like in the back scene, as you can see, I'm going to be using extra soft charcoal pencil. But again, if you have a block, a charcoal block, let me show you what I'm talking about, which is a very messy one. If you have this would also work in the background, and don't forget to clean up because it's pretty messy. Okay, so for this area that is pretty light, I'm going to be using 5H. How did I decide this, guys? This is behind the scenes. I put my pencil on everywhere in this paper, little paper, which is the same paper that I'm drawing on, vellum paper, and I decided which shade is closest to the actual photo, reference photo. I put it next to it, and then I compared it. That's how I decided on my 5H. So the basic tone will be 5H, and for the mid-tones, again, I did the same thing. I put on the paper 4B, and 4B was great for the mid-tones as well. So I have 4B, 5H, and I have this charcoal for the around the eyes and the lips and the darker places. I have my extra soft for the behind and the clothing, and I have 4B for the mid-tones and 5H for the lightest part of the skin. Now we know. Now we decided how to draw our little boy, and I explained to you how I chose my pencils in there. As you can see, you know, some people really have difficulty in where is the light, where is the shading, where is the highlights, like how shadows, how do you see it? I don't see it when I look at the picture. And in order to do that, of course, I'm going to show you a trick as well, how you decide it. Sometimes you have to look at your photo very carefully. I just saw, for example, this part under the nose. It's pretty dark, and there's a kind of dimple part, and then there's a light cover of it. If you want to see it better, this is my trick, guys. Go to edit and increase the contrast and exposure, or decrease it. When you now I'm gonna first make it darker a little bit, like I'm gonna decrease the exposure, so you can actually see where the lightest areas are. So when you make your picture darker or like lower contrast, you can see all these areas that are popping up. Look at that, guys. So what I see here when I look at it, that nose tip is pretty bright, so I'm putting that on. Under the eye, there's like one little area that's pretty light. Around the eyes are pretty light, as you can see. I see this under the his left eye, but for us it's right eye. You can see there's like a lighter area. Of course, this shines in the eyes, guys, pupils. It's very, very important to put all those reflections, because that makes our drawing realistic. So I'm putting those reflections in before I forget, because if I color them black, there's no going back. It's very difficult to erase such a small area, but you know, there's always something that we can reverse, but I just don't want to give extra effort for that, obviously. So in reality, guys, this drawing took me around 2 hours. If you want to do a full tutorial with me, step by step, real time, please come to my Patreon, patreon.com/ecegürler, so we can actually draw together, and I give more tips while I'm drawing, of course. So I'm putting all these highlights in, and I see a very little cute area around the mouth as well, so I'm just gonna put that in, but it's very small, so I'm adding that in right now. Perfect. So how do I see the darker areas? Now I'm making it even brighter, so it's pretty bright right now, as you can see, but I still see a lot of dark shadows. So I'm just looking at where those shadows are. So I see this part is pretty dark, and I'm gonna try to draw that area right now. And on the other side of the cheek, it's also dark, but it's not as dark as what I'm drawing right now. I just realized I didn't finish the mouth, but well, we can finish always later. So if you like my videos, guys, please subscribe. It's important to show your support. That kind of makes me want to even create more videos for you every week. Every week I post on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so please check out my channel every Tuesday and Thursday for even more content. And I decided to add more, actually, teasers at the end of my videos after this, so that you can actually know what's coming up next. Okay, I'm drawing this, and as you can see in the chin area, there's like a very dark line as well. Okay, I think I'm pretty good to go. But I show you this trick too, and that's great that now you know how to see all these lighter parts, the highlighted parts, and the shadow parts. So I'm gonna do the shading and then blending with the paper towel, but of course you can use cotton as well. If you have cotton at home, that's also works. Now I'm gonna go a bit fast forward. I erased a little bit my sketch because it was a little too dark. I wanted to show you guys, and then after erased it, I start drawing. I always start drawing from the left eye because I always believe that if I go counterclockwise, I'm gonna get less messy. As you can see around my picture, I'm a pretty messy worker. Unfortunately, I'm working on it still. Oh well, we are all human beings. So, but I want to keep my drawing really clean. So after I put in the lighter tones in after the eye, I'm going in with the darker parts and the darkest shadows, the values, and then I will go to the medium values. The mid values are always fun to work with because then you can actually see how realistic your drawing looks. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, vellum paper was a little bit hard to work with because it's fine paper, it's not medium paper. So when you're blending, it's not actually blending, it still shows your pencil stroke. So please make sure that you're very gentle with your pencil and you're applying pressure when you're working with your pencils on vellum paper. Now our picture is coming together. As you can see, I'm putting all the highlights in and the darker shades in. That's what gives a picture realistic effect, the contrast, the dark and light. And the more you darken the details, the more you give the highlights to give the reflection of light, the more realistic you will have. As you can see, I put a little bit of plastic underneath my hand because it started to get really smudgy. We don't want that. Oh, that's such a cutie. Again, my photo reference is in the description part. All the materials are used in the description part. My other videos showing the techniques and the basics for pencils, charcoal, and both charcoal and graphite are also in the description part. Please check them out if you haven't seen them before. Here we go. We are ready with our picture. Again, guys, if you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe to show your support. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.